Hi everyone, I'm going live again today. Today's our lucky day. I did a live with Dr. Naina and now there we go. She's so on time. How are you guys doing? Tell me where are you guys joining us from?
Hi!
Namaste! How are you?
Hi, love. Namaste. Hi, everybody. I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me today.
It is my pleasure. It's my pleasure. I know it took a while before we could catch in, so
Yes.
but
Blessings.
we all know that everything is by divine plan, right?
Yes, yes, we
Yes.
do.
So this is the right time to be here. Hi, Tarajun. Hi, Nasrat. So
Hey, everybody.
since the majority of my people might not know about you, tell
Yes.
us a little bit about yourself. Tell us, we love to hear about your journey and what got you here.
Okay, beautiful. Well, hi, everybody. Again, thank you so much for having me. So this has been a journey of, I would say it started about 2004. Um, I had come out of the business world. So I was an internet entrepreneur. I had a .com and marketing and sales and high technology
Mhm.
and kind of, was looking for something different and knew there was another path for me. So it was like many of us, we kind of get that inner knowing that there's got to be more than just
Mhm.
this. And that led me to Reiki. And so I became a Reiki master teacher in 2004 and then delved into the Akashic records. So that was a big opening for me to being able to access my multidimensional self in different states of awareness. So yeah, so that just kept going. And, I just followed my heart, what was drawing me, what was calling me. And as many of us in 2011, 2012,
Mhm.
Gaia and the divine feminine showed up very strongly on my doorstep.
Yeah, yeah. I hear you, sister. I hear
Right.
you, sister.
I know you do. And so I was like, oh, okay. I have a much bigger role than I ever imagined. And so that path really was quite expansive. And I've been on that feminine return to balance and harmony, things that I talk about.
Mhm.
And yeah, just it's been amazing, an amazing journey of remembrance, of empowerment for the feminine and also for the masculine.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to talk about what I've been working on and what I see and what I feel is so important right now in this divine dance. We are in the divine dance, and I've been in
Mhm.
divine dances with many beloveds to rewire or re-encode what's
Mhm.
happening here on the planet. So,
Yeah. I gotta tell you, I got so emotional. It's just like,
oh,
sometimes, this is our first interaction,
yeah,
but it's the soul connection when I recognize you as my
yes,
sister, and just so emotional. I was like, oh, I find my lost sister. Where have
I
you
know.
been?
I did my eyes. Sudie, I never really wear like cat eye makeup, and I wore it today. And I'm like, of course, because
Egyptian cat.
a
Yeah.
totally Egyptian cat. I'm very connected to Egypt. It's a very dear to my heart. And Mesopotamia, I carry a lot of the ancient blueprints
Yeah.
in my body, and so Egypt is very much not just Egypt. I say Mesopotamia, the original blueprint, the original. I'm getting chills. The original energetic for Gaia and for the human race. And I've done a lot of work there in many ways. Talk about divine union, and again, working in original template, which are the the way we're supposed to live, the way we're supposed to be, the joy and the peace and the abundance and everything that we are supposed to be in right now without struggle, without fighting. And this is where the feminine, the message that came through for me in 2012, I needed to step into my femininity, my empowerment, my divine self, and everything showed up when I said yes to that. So
now, before we get started, I have a question because for me, you know, I wasn't really into this realm of spirituality and all that. I was pursuing my acting. I was a TV hostess, you know, and all of a sudden this healing and shamanism, it just drops down my lap. It's just like all of a sudden you're giving this kid like really complicated tools. Now my question for you is, because I didn't accept that right away, I was resisting and struggling with it for literally 2 months. So here's my question. Did you accept this gift, like the gift that was in you? Like, did you accept this activation right away, or were you struggling like I did for a while?
Well, I mean, and I think that's very common. And I think because I had already had a very direct spiritual connection since 2004, because I had already worked with so many people as a Reiki master teacher, as a coach, a mentor, and then with the Akashic Records, I already had an understanding of who I was and what I had access to. So I think because of that, and I had quantum training, quantum matrix energetics training with Dr. Richard Bartlett, I had moved into gem and flower essences. So I had a breadth of information and knowledge already before 2011, 2012. So I knew something was coming. I knew it was big. I kept asking, what's next? I had a child. I got married. I made the money. I still wasn't satisfied. I still wasn't fulfilled. And so for me, I knew something was coming, and I started getting clues. And I was like, oh, well, codes, what codes, you know, because I started to get all the information before 2012. And then a man showed up, and my world just went like, it was like an atom bomb went off. So he and I, because we met, we came together, it was a really powerful way. And we had each other. And I think I'm very grateful that I met him, because I have heard stories of people that have had the awakening, but there's no one that they have near them to support them. So I was blessed to have the background and also have an access to the Akashic Records. So I could see what was going on, and I knew, I mean, it was still traumatic, Sudhi. So it wasn't like, because I was married, I had a 3-year-old, and all of this stuff was happening, and I knew I had to move out of that relationship. So that was very traumatic, and it was a challenge for me, you know, to follow my heart, and I knew that I needed to be by myself or not in a, you know, in relationship, so I could explore. So yeah, I there was a lot. It was overwhelming. In 2012, it was like hours of downloads every day. It was just, you know, but again, I had him, and he was very connected. And so the two of us together really started bringing in quite a bit of information and unlocking all of these codes, including Egypt. That was very much a part of it. Atlantis was how it started, and Egypt came next, which for me are very close to each other. So
yes. So for me, Valerie, it was about close to 2000 also. And then
sorry, everybody. I'm trying to put my camera up. I apologize.
My hummingbirds are saying hello to you.
Hi, hummingbirds. I love them. I'm very connected. I'm going to have to hold the phone so it doesn't do that again.
Okay. So for me, like I said, I didn't have anybody, and all of a sudden this boom just started. And I start my seminar. I think I did my first spiritual shamanism seminar in Dubai. That was 2009 or 11.
Oh,
And it's a funny story. I just announced it on my TV show, right? I became a robot. I just went there and I said, I think I'm doing a seminar in Dubai. Anybody wants to sign up? 107 people signed up.
Oh my goodness. They were waiting for you.
I know. And then when I was on the plane, this guy who was sitting next to me, he said, well, you know, random conversation. Where are you going? I'm going to Dubai. And he said, what are you doing there? I said, I'm doing a 4-day seminar there. He said, what is this about? I said, I don't know. He said, like, you're doing a 4-day seminar and you don't know what it's about? I said, no, I really don't.
Perfect.
Yeah. So you know how it is. Like the guys, as soon as we opened up, it was like 100 guys. And Dubai Air was like so, you know, the Middle Eastern air is so different. So I woke up in the morning and it was like that splash of and this music, what is it? Ashhadu Allah, you know, that music was so powerful in the air. And I'm not a Muslim, right?
Okay, sweetie, you're gonna bring it out in me. I do speak language, light language. That is one of the ways that I communicate.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Yes.
So you're bringing it forth.
That's what it's all about. Join live.
Okay, so I'll speak a little bit. It's not necessarily something that can be translated. It can be felt, but I am feeling this is for you specifically. I did take a group to Egypt over summer solstice 2017. It was very much, very divinely, just like your workshop. It was very divinely guided. I did a lot of work at the temples, and you know, I remember I've had visions of how it used to be in Egypt, how it used to be the Fertile Crescent, Mesopotamia, the center. And so for me, the return to that Eden, because this is all about returning to Eden. And that part of the world, you know, especially for America, how it's been painted has been done for purpose. But I know in my heart what that is about. That is the center. And that is an important piece for peace. That is an important place for peace, because peace there means that there's peace all over the world. It's very important. I just got chills saying that. Okay, so here's some language for you. If there is a translation, it will come through. Okay, let's see.
Okay, everybody, this is for everyone.
El hatar tai naratai. Shambaran detarotai. Yai kutaratai statsende. Tikale tarotetin dortal. Esa lahatufai kaela. Kai staratu stai sama. Jama rotambe kotai kotai. Shamba rotai marotai. Tendai orandai marututaita. Tikanzai stovarte. Sama norondai kotai kota. Tiala ikosacha. Sama marondai kata nai. Yal arotai me torata. Sendando khanda. Sitorotu. Tikaisai shahatai. Lama rundai shnachitavata.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Beautiful. That was amazing. Heartfelt.
Oh, good.
Beautiful. Tell us about masculine and feminine energy.
Yes. Anything specific? Because what I work on, I'm going to say divine union. When I look at that, again, I work multidimensionally. So, you know, there is with between a man and a woman. However, the physics is the alchemy between those two frequencies or energies. And so what we've been participating in is a rebalance, with that masculine feminine, because we've been running this masculine template for many years, thousands of years. When I look at that, for me, that's Atlantis. A lot of those very rigid, specific, scientific, without the heart, without the feminine, without the creation, the womb. These are all pieces that have been left out of many aspects of our current, life, our modern day architecture. And so in the return of the dynamic between masculine and feminine, it is about that divine marriage. Eros Gamos is a word that has come up. And because I work in that architecture, it is about, again, the reunion of those, I would say, polar opposites, because in a way we have held those within our own body that has kept a balance. It's just that, the softer or the feminine aspects have not been honored as they once were. Back in ancient times, when we were all together in ancient times, there was a balance. There was a respect and an honor for what the feminine brought. And we bring so much more, and to free up those resources from our feminine ways, and to be honored and respected and cared for and supported. These are things that I see, when I talk about king and queen, it's an energetic rather than an actual person or a, the monarchy. It is about honor and bringing that balance and harmony. So that's a lot of what I've been working on.
Yeah. So basically what I was saying, I think people are confused about exactly what do we mean where we're saying feminine, what is exactly feminine energy and what is exactly masculine energy.
Yeah.
And because for me, my experience has been that I always operated from my masculine energy, and I had like so much heart wall, and I shut down myself. I was like so tough and hard and protecting myself, that I never allowed my feminine energy. And to me, there was this wrong translation. It took me years, Valerie, to realize that being vulnerable is not weakness, but is strength.
Yes.
God forbid if I would get emotional or shed tears. Oh my God, that would not happen. I'll be so weak, So I really, no, I'm not kidding. I mean, I really struggle with this. So,
they're so cute. I understand. I was in business. I understand, because I came out of, and this is the society putting us into these categories. And also from the feminine collective, there has been much healing that has needed to take place. And so, a lot of us work on our own individual experiences. However, we're really working in the collective patterns, releasing trauma. And so it is about, tuning in. When I think feminine, I think collaboration, cooperation, things that mothers do. I have an 11-year-old, and, mothers know you trade things and you share what you have. And this is normal. And, I think also in some cultures, it's also very normal. Back more to the tribal sense of everybody is supported, everybody has a role, and everyone is honored and respected for what they bring. And I feel that the industrialization of us, as a people, into numbers, into, the 9 to 5, which for me is we're just clocking in and clocking out. Those systems, they took away the individual. They took away the creative. They took away the uniqueness of us, you know, of each of us. And survival is masculine. We went into many of, you know, the trauma that we've had has brought about this survival and a consciousness that, you know, has just created a disconnection from the heart, disconnection from the feeling. And the masculine was told, you know, you can't have emotional men going to war. So they cut off that piece of, you know, of true, I would say, intimacy, because we are human. We have so many aspects that have not been fully resolved. So when I look at masculine, I look more linear. The masculine has some beautiful qualities that also were mismanaged. And so, you know, we need linear. I've said before, the feminine provides the flow, right? And the masculine provides the riverbank. The feminine is the river and the masculine is that bank. And they have to work together. They need each other. So it's going back into that harmony and that balance, because, you know, we're not one over the other. No one is in control of anyone. And so this is how we've been for so long. And so, you know, the masculine and feminine, especially those divine couples, are very important with what's happening, because they will ground in the next iteration, the next way of being. So those are very important, those couples.
Yeah. So how do you explain, how do you explain, like, the past few years I encounter and run into more men who are they're coming very much from their feminine energy. They are a lot more expressive of their emotions, and they're much more vulnerable, and they're willing to cry. How do you explain that?
Well, I think on the flip side, you've seen men that are overly masculine, that, you know, we call hyper masculine. They're so in their masculine because they're wounded. They haven't had a chance to express, to feel safe and comfortable with their own emotion. And so it's easier just to turn that off, right? And become hyper masculine. So for me, it is about the balance. And, you know, I don't know why, but a puppy's coming to mind. If you train an animal to go against its own ways, what's going to happen to the animal? They're going to have to adapt, right? So for me, when I see the male, the masculine that hasn't actually recognized he also has the feminine within him, right? Because if you're honoring that, wouldn't you then honor the feminine in the world? Yeah. We are both. And I feel that the return to, you know, and like you said earlier, vulnerability doesn't mean weakness. Well, it's the same for men and women. You can be vulnerable and still be strong and powerful, and still hold that masculine space. So we're moving out of that weakness. You know, it's seen as a weakness. I think that's the biggest thing society has to move out of. We don't need to be at war. We don't need to fight each other. What are we fighting? Why are we fighting? What are we fighting for? I don't even know. So I feel that part of the fighting is sadness, grief. I've done work on the land all over the world. I can feel it in the land. The grief, the anger, the sadness of having to fight or go to war and leaving women and children. So for me, these are things we're returning to. And, you know, challenge everyone to look within, because we are in a completely new paradigm and things are shifting very quickly. So I want to thank the men and the women who have done the work, who have been able to go within themselves, to be vulnerable. Because if you can be vulnerable, then you have access to a power that you might not have access to.
Now, something that I want to share with you, is that, you know, I do join webinars, or I'm doing a lot of private coaching session. So here's what I'm seeing a lot. Men who are moving into their feminine energy and they're becoming vulnerable, unfortunately, they attracting some extremely narcissistic or masculine women who are crashing them.
Interesting.
So do you see what I'm saying? And it's funny, I'm not talking about one session or one scenario. I have
a lot
dealing with a lot of this, and you know, so every session that I do, or constantly, I keep cleansing myself and I'm clearing myself. I'm aware, like, this keep coming to me. What is this bringing to my attention? You know, but it's like, I don't want to blame women or anything, but for what I'm seeing is when men are taking that responsibility to switch and experience their feminine energy, we are, as narcissistic or masculine energy, we are attacking them, and we don't allow them, and we sending out again a wrong message that is not safe for you to change into your feminine energy and be vulnerable.
Yeah, that's very well said. And I've seen that. And so this is for both sides. Women also, you know, they say toxic femininity, toxic masculinity. It goes both ways. And so I think also recovering women that have been very masculine also have to feel safe. And this is a big piece. This is a collective piece. Is, you know, can the feminine trust the masculine? Can the masculine trust the feminine?
Yeah.
In order to trust, there has to be a suspension of judgment, of really holding a very beautiful space of non-judgment. I think most of what I've seen, most of the men that I've worked with, when I really get down into it, what's underneath, you know, any kind of narcissistic personality situations, it's usually inadequacy. Shame and inadequacy are the base level. Not living up to someone's expectation, right? Yeah. So I feel that this expectations that men and women have been put under are just unrealistic. And we're seeing it now, especially this year. People are really seeing what's really important, you know, what is really important. If it's not from the heart, if you're not coming from that place, do you really need it? I think that's, for me, if it's, you know, people talk about fifth dimensional frequency, and I work in multi dimensions. It is heart based. If you're coming from the heart, if we as a group are coming from the heart, if our decisions are with that unconditional love, because if it's not unconditional, what is it? It doesn't really have a place, for me anyway, in this new paradigm that we are ushering in, because it's coming. It is here. Oh, I have more language, but go ahead.
Do you want to give us the language?
I think you have something to say first, and then I'm feeling
okay
to say something, if that's okay.
Sure. So, you know, for me, because, you know, I'm Persian and I'm coming from Middle East, right?
Yes.
And so I'm dealing with a lot of Persians and Middle Eastern. And I see that women today, like the majority of, we have a small amount that is like the youngster, the generation after, especially the kids who were born after year 20, like they're in their 20 years, 18, and that's how I'm not talking about them. But just going back like 30 or 40 or 50 years old, women, they are, they get so backed up in that energies that is from so many other ancestry. So I see,
Yeah.
like today I'm doing a session with someone, and then I see that her energy is connected to the mom, and I'm going back, grandmother,
Yes.
grandmother, grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
So what is your approach to collectively clear the trade of ancestry in many past generations?
Yeah, that's a great one. A lot of the work that I do in the Akashic, when you work with the individual, because you're in the field, you're in the quantum field. And
Mm-hmm.
so when you work with one person, depending on what it is, it can really affect the entire family unit. Um, and so for me, the work that I use is Akashic field therapy, and it works in the subconscious. And so it can work on multiple lineages.
Mm-hmm.
But knowing that everything's happening now, past, present, and future, it's all happening now. It's just happening on different frequency bands,
Right.
which is once you understand that or feel it or see it, it makes much more sense because we're working in a non-linear space. The biggest thing that I say on the feminine is that we work non-linear, right? Meaning we're not working in a linear straight line.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can go and jump into other realms and do work. And so that's what I do with clients. And also, again, working in the collective, what I notice, I'm working in collective patterns. So I will ask, show me what's happening for the collective. And I'll pull into the Akashic, the collective pattern, so I can see what's actually happening.
Mm-hmm.
For humanity, each species has records. So the planet has a record. The solar system has a record.
Mm-hmm.
All the different species have records because they inform them on what to do, how to be, how to act. So working with an individual, you can affect their entire lineage because you're working, again, through them and they're connected. It's a quantum phenomena.
Right.
Right? I mean, if you can work with another family member, it's great because you're going to get, but it really just takes one.
Get it.
It just takes one. Right? It's the two or more are gathered. When I do ceremony, Siri, I sometimes just have one person. That's all I need, two or more. And I can connect and do a variety of things with just two people. So the power of just a small group of people is very important who have a very clear intention.
Great. So
okay.
you give me the chance. Now is your turn to give us your
some more information. I think it was. Oh, go ahead.
You said that you wanted to give us more language. Are you still up to it?
Yes, something was coming through based on what we were talking about with the feminine architecture. So yes, let me see what it is. Okay. Dasa mashta hatsi darkane alda dukhakatsavai lame shartan shitai sal dorando ka utareta sal dahrata kitana ela mahandorat ala itarat inda takotan jatital sa noronbaesh tortai titsa marande isama maranda kita norot tikamba borotan chitanda. Some of the Egyptian principles, especially Ma'at, right? Balance, right? When she shows up, because there is an out of balance scenario. So I was feeling that energetic coming through. We are in the time of that balance, of that weighing of hearts. So that's energetic is very present. And, you know, we are still operating with some of the original codes from Egypt, from Rome, from Greece. Those are the three civilizations if you really go in and look at how they operated, we are still operating in those ways.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And for me, it is the freedom piece. It is the sovereign piece. These are aspects that are needed here on Earth, where we are grown up. We're not children anymore in the sense of humans.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a sovereign aspect to everything that's been happening, at least what I'm seeing since 2012.
Yeah.
Is a freedom and a sovereignty. And the feminine energy is the key to all of this.
Mm.
It's not just the women, but it's the feminine essence.
Mm.
And that is very important for us to, of course, we carry a lot of it as women, but the feminine energy is utilized through some of the things I mentioned before: cooperation, collaboration, social justice, restorative justice, environment. How are women and children being treated around the world?
Mm.
That is our litmus test for peace. Because until all women and children are safe, we we need to feel that way in order to have a peaceful existence. So that for me is what's happening in a lot of the different things that I've been involved in, and others have to do with that.
Mm. That's it.
Yeah. So
I want to share with you one of my downloads and see what's your take on it, Valerie. I got these downloads that what we call as far as like past lives.
Mm-hmm.
Since there's no time and space, everything is happening right now, and each lifetime is not ending. Like each lifetime is already happening, and as we are aware about parallel universes, so
Yes.
we're having all these constant. The first time I got this download, it was many years ago. It was at the beginning when I got into this field, and I was telepathically, I was asking, what does this mean? That there was like this huge screen, and it was 1920. I was in the carriage with big black dress and blah blah, and then I was in Ireland standing in front of a lot of people, and then there was this auditorium in London, and then I was in India, and I was looking, and I was walking on Hawaii Beach, and I asked telepathically, what is this? And I understood that these were my different lives, like in parallel universes, right? And then later on, I got that download that there's no concept of past lives.
Yes.
So all these things that I have been seeing as my past lives are actually happening. Everything is happening right now. And it's just about my consciousness, wherever my conscious travels at that moment, that life, I experience that, and that becomes real. So in this context, if you agree with it, then why are we still saying, like, in my past lives and my two other past lives?
Because, humans have language and they have to understand things. So it's less about the syntax and because everyone's going to have a different interpretation, right? Mm-hmm. Depending on what you've experienced, what you've, what your level of understanding is, what your frequency is. Mm-hmm. I use past, what do I call it? I say soul incarnations.
Right.
Or aspects, because if you really think about it, the soul is eternal. And so, I know that I've been on Earth for a long time. I've had many lifetimes here. So I would say I'm an ancient soul. And I've had the ability to access many of those aspects and bring them forth. I like to look at it as I'm putting on a coat.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'm putting on this coat, like you're saying. I'm putting on this coat. Oh, what's this about? Oh, why do I need this? There's purpose for it. And so it really is about the soul, and there's some young souls. There's star seeds. There's souls that are here that are new, that came from the stars. So I see, and someone was asking earlier, I'm just looking at some of the comments about earth language. Yes, I do speak earth language. I do speak galactic or cosmic language. A lot of it is mixed together because we are part, I say we're part earth and we're part star. We do have, if you really look at us under a microscope, we carry everything that the universe is made of. And so, to understand how powerful we really are, and that we have access to so much more than we have been led to believe, that's when I talk about freedom and sovereignty. So when I'm looking at somebody's Akashic record, I can see certain aspects. I used to be more into that, Sudi. I would say like, oh, like I can see you and you were this and you were that. But what I found is people got very attached to a specific, oh, I was this or I was that, rather than look at what's coming up and what are the patterns that I'm working with now. A lot of people holding trauma from past incarnations. And so in my work, I really go into that subconscious to allow people to release that. And so that's been a lot of my path, especially with the language. The language started coming through in 2012, 2013, because I opened up the remembrance that I have access to all of this language. And everybody listening or watching today, we have access to these languages. Our soul knows everything. It's just a matter of releasing the trauma or the layers that don't allow you to actually connect with that authentic self. So I like to hold that space. Yes, releasing patterns. That's my friend. So, I've seen that, again, like our upbringing, our religion and the culture and society, the labels and the patterns that we as a group have run haven't necessarily allowed us to access this authenticity. And so that's really, for me, what's really important, especially with masculine and feminine, right? Can men be men and women be women? Have we been allowed to be everything? Can we be all of it?
Yeah. So I want to ask you another question in regard to what I said before. If we are having like multiple lives and they're continuously happening, in your opinion, then why would we call someone a young soul, or why would we call, if it's continuously is happening in parallel universes, why do we say someone is a young soul or someone is an old soul?
So going into more of the cosmic sense, the star seeds, that's a group that, every generation is a different energetic. So we name them, right? They have earth names, Generation Z or what have you. But there's an energetic frequency for the generations. So, you might have heard of the word, I said star seed before. Star, the indigo. So you look at the frequency, since probably the 60s, we started to see a certain level of energetic, of people coming in, right? A certain frequency. And so every generation brings forth knowledge and information from the past generation, because, that's what we're doing here. We're bringing in these codes. We're allowing the essence, again, of who we are to come forth. And so when I say young soul, I'm referring more to a starseed. Some people they haven't had as many lives necessarily. Mm-hmm. So the soul is a newer soul. I can kind of feel it. Mm-hmm. So yes, I mean, we are eternal, but we also fragments. We come in and we're carrying certain soul fragments, right? Like you're saying, Egypt, I carry that as well. Mm-hmm. And I recognize you. We have similar soul fragments. Mm-hmm. And so that's also what's been happening since 2012, because there has been an awakening of these specific souls. People have many names for them, but ultimately it's, you know, groups of people that have come for change, to enact change on this earth plane. And that's part of it. You know, I say we're the dreamers. A lot of us have been dreaming in these new visions of what we want to see. Of what I've been doing the same thing. How do we get to peace? People talk about it, but how do we actually create it and ground it? You know, it has to be created from a new perspective in a new frequency. And so that is something that I also work on, because it's all connected.
Yeah. Fabulous. Yeah. So how do you do your teaching? Like, are you running a webinar, or how do you do it?
So I do a lot of activations through Zoom. You know, I used to do some lives. I'd love to do more in person. I have done some retreats, so I am looking at next year to do a couple of retreats. I'm very connected to Lemuria and Atlantis. I live in California on the coast, so Hawaii I've done a lot of work there, a lot of earth work. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I do it through phone or through Skype or through Zoom. But yeah, webinars. I'm open. It's interesting because all of a sudden I'm being asked to do some feminine work to come on. So you started it, and then I just today 2 other people invited me on to do things. So I feel like we're in this resurgence. This is a really powerful month. And yes, laden true beauty. It is easier to contact other planets. So remember, frequency, consciousness, it's all happening here. So we are carrying the same codes. We're Earth, but we're also cosmic. So yes, we have, for me, it's much easier today than it used to be, because there's no distortion, or there's less distortion. And again, what you see in the physical world, the 3D world, is just it's a manifestation of the energetics. So as we shift the energetics, we will start to see something new, manifest on this plane.
Mm-hmm. So what would you like to check our collective group here right now? Is it something you like to do or not?
I don't know. Let's see. I was kind of feeling some heart stuff. Okay, now I just got third eye. So how about a little third eye activation?
Beautiful. We cannot get enough of that.
How about a little pineal activation?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yes. Okay. Yeah, why not? I was going to wear my have a little bendies, but I didn't put it on.
I can see it. You don't need to wear it.
Yeah, I had one. It fell off. Okay, so let's do a little pineal activation. I'll do maybe a little language, but let's take a few deep breaths, and it's really important. I just finished a high heart activation on 12/1, and it was heart and high heart, which would be more of the upper chakras and upper frequencies.
Beautiful.
So, yeah, if you think about your physical body as a step-down transformer for the energies coming in. And so it's why there's, an importance on keeping the body very clear energetically and also physically, because your body is... I'm getting like a mechanical feel. It's not really that, but just like the computer. You have a hard drive. So, okay, let's take a few deep breaths, and then we'll open up. I'll do a little bit of language. And I'm seeing a really beautiful blue right in the third eye. It's actually a royal blue, which is different. It's normally a bit more purple. But I'm going to do a little blue out of my third eye into everybody watching. Start to feel a pulse in the third eye area. And so I'm going to tap on mine. You can tap on yours if you want. Esal dahatai oranda te dahatai, opening a connection. I'm seeing the 9th chakra, which should be above the head. We're going to be accessing that. Could be called the soul star. You have many chakras above you. Itande kautai, tatai isartai, ela kautai, ela kahita, e tahatai, ela hatai, e kaukatai, el ahatai ta, siam bahato, e kau tahuta.
Beautiful.
Yay, oh, thank you. You lit something. And so I just kind of saw it expand. Imagine pulling that energy down, right? Mm-hmm. And then you can move that out, kind of play with that frequency. But it looked a different color, which is interesting because I'm seeing some of the energetic systems changing. There has been a merge with some of the chakras, mm-hmm. because we are changing, we are unifying, and the frequency is now different on Earth than it is, than it has been rather.
I was talking to a friend the other day, and she said, "I feel like something is in my throat, is choking me." I said, "Yeah, I see it too. It's your ego. Let it out."
Oh God. Okay, like, that's a good one. I saw your post.
Brush it up and listen to this. It's really funny. And she followed me, and I said, it's your ego. It's just got stuck here, and you want to come out. So keep on brushing it and say, "I feel you. I know, honey. I know. I got you hostage. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna release you. I'm gonna let you go." Right?
Good. Oh,
So I did this. And funny enough, we got this morning, and she says, my sister, as a healer, she got corona, and she called me, and right away my chest and my throat. And I remember what you told me, and I told her, "Is your ego is in your throat." I said,
crap.
That was for you.
Oops.
She's like, "I gotta go." But listen to this. She goes,
bad connection. Click.
Yeah. No. And then she said, "I told her what you showed me." And I said, caress it. "Oh, ego, sorry
caress it.
that mm-hmm. I put you in jail, and I got you hostage. I'm setting you free." And then she felt so much better, and so did I. All the pressure. And I said, "You see, that's how simple it is."
I love that, Sudhi, because we are in charge of our own healing. This is really important. And, we have to recognize that this is the throat chakra, the base, that is the immune. That is our immunity. It's really important. Yeah. So there's no accident that, and I think a lot of people are afraid to speak. They're afraid to speak the truth. This has been a very common, this is part of it, especially the feminine, the feminine. Speak up, speak how you feel, because again, there's a remembrance of being silenced, right? So it's so important. It's so important. And the throat chakra does come up. Remember, if you're opening the heart, right, when you speak, it's going to come from there. And so you feel the frequency. And that's why when I speak language, it goes right into your soul. It's people call it many things. Hi, Luby. star language, you know, archangel, angelic language, original language. What did I smoke? I don't think Sudi was smoking. Were you? Are you asking
No, honey,
me?
I'm not smoking.
Oh,
it's just sage.
It's a sage.
It's sage. I'm clearing out my energy.
I don't know what that question's for. I didn't smoke anything. I don't need to do drugs. I am drugs. No, that's what
I know.
Frequency. The frequency is all you need. I arrived at most of this without anything. I never took anything. I didn't take any mushrooms. I've had, you know, it's meditation. It's connecting consistently to frequency and sitting with it and releasing. You know, for me, again, most people have so much stuff. They have so much stuff on top of them. They have layers and layers. You know, I see it as an onion. So when I work with someone, you know, I start pulling off the layers. And so it's usually what people are holding, what they haven't been allowed to be or say, right? And this is the authenticity. This is be yourself. You came through into a body for a reason. It's no accident. So why are you here? You know, what is the purpose? And these are pieces for me that modern society hasn't taught us how powerful we really are. And I think, you know, this resurgence, this energetic, this paradigm shift is we are expanding as a species along with the planet herself and the animals. We're not the only ones expanding. The animals are also expanding. Yeah, so true. Yeah, there is this, for me, there's a lot of excitement about what's coming. Right?
Yeah.
So, woohoo. There's my little one. I'm still on my video, honey.
Can we see her?
Yes, there's my angel. There, you want to be on Instagram?
Let's see the angel. We haven't seen angel.
Oh, he popped in and left. There's my angel. Weed is expanding. Of course, and I do use, because I do shaman work, as Sudi does, you know, we hold the space between the dimensions. So I do use plant medicine when I need to, herb. It's very specific and it has a purpose. So, you know, I use it in ceremony. I use things as guided in ceremony. It's earth-based, and trash is also expanding the ocean. So I'm just reading comments. Hi, Livy. Hi, Angel. December 21st. So this is a big month. Definitely December 21st. There is some activity. Again, this is a cycle. We are at a very important precipice for the planet because of the level of light, the level of plasma that we have access to, and the solar. Have you noticed the sun? I mean, it is amazing what's coming through. So I do see this expansion with the solar masculine and the feminine, the lunar feminine. And this is the divine dance. This is the divine dance, right?
Yeah.
So.
Do you have to give us the last word? Would you like to teach us something?
Rainbow Bridge. You know, I think what I found with all my years of teachings and trainings and working with people, it's very simple. And I think that's also something that we're coming to. Some of the most amazing technology and process that I've seen and experienced and brought through is the most simple. And that's when you know it's from heart, it's from spirit. You know, it's not complicated. We have overcomplicated so many aspects of our life. And I think most of us just want the simplicity of love, right? Everything collapses to love, to be loved and to love freely, openly, without restriction. And so that's what I would say is just love. And whatever is less than love, you can feel it. And so focusing on that figuring out what that is for me is really the most important assignment for myself and for others. Because if we're all in that vibration of love, that's it. There is no war. There is no strife. We're all living in this Eden, which is Gaia. This is the Eden planet, after all.
Absolutely. So I started a free webinar. I'm running it every Sunday.
Oh, beautiful.
10 a.m. And I'm just, I work on real time. So I just sit and see whatever comes collectively they need to hear.
I love it.
You and your followers are more than welcome to come. I was thinking of doing it through Zoom, but I just wanted to be more open. I just guided.
You can do a Zoom webinar.
Yeah, but here's the deal. I just got guided. Why do you even want to try Zoom? I'm just doing it on Instagram and Facebook, and then we're putting it on YouTube. Yeah. But as we were talking right now, I just got this thing. It's an invitation. You can think about it. Maybe we should do, at some point, we should do a joint ceremony on Zoom.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I'd love to.
Yeah.
I'd love to.
Because, the majority of my audience are Persian.
Yeah, beautiful.
And I'm so blessed for having such a young audience also, like you won't believe it, like from 10 years old. And
yay!
And some of this because 40 years ago, I used to be strictly in health and fitness and nutrition. I was a personal trainer. So I got on Persian television year 2000.
Okay.
And a lot of moms, they bought my exercise DVDs.
Yeah.
And these kids who were like 2-year-old, 3 years old, now they're like...
They're like, wait a minute.
Because I remember when my mom was playing.
Yeah, let's do it.
Using my pseudos and stuff. So anyhow.
That'd be great. I'd love to.
Yeah, I have a lot of young followers, and I think it would be great to do a joint. I mean, it doesn't have to be just for women, but we can do that and see where that takes us.
Okay, I'd love to. Yeah,
me too. Love it.
Yay.
It was my pleasure.
Oh, thank you so much.
To have you here.
Oh,
find my lost sister. Finally,
I know. Yay!
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you again. Thank you, everybody.
Looking forward to do more lives together.
Likewise, sweetie. Have a beautiful rest of the evening.
Blessing. Thank
Blessings
you so much.
to you.
Bye bye.
Aloha, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.